These videos have always been the best received, highest viewed, highest ranking videos on my channel because we put a lot of work into our product reviews. And if you can see the wall in the back of my shop, I have used every product imaginable. So today we're gonna break down the best clippers of 2024. The next video, best trimmers, best shavers. So we're gonna do this little series right now. So this is just the low down and dirty mid-year review of what I see being the best products, what I think of the best brands, all this stuff. So we're gonna break this down for you guys, and let's go ahead, let's get started. Let's head over to the shop. Let's bust open this drawer full of stuff that we don't use that often. So there's a lot of stuff in here, obviously, and let's go through some of it. We have all our shavers, we have every clipper, we have every trimmer. So I want you guys to know that I've worked really hard to get to this point in my life where a lot of companies are now sending me something. Now, there was a time where nobody was sending me nothing and I had to work my ass off to get here. So with that being said, I'm only saying that to say that we do have every damn tool that's been released in this industry. Many of these we've gotten early, and we have had an opportunity to work with all of them. Essentially, you're gonna get a really good amount of information here. So let's get started. I'm just gonna pick these at random. First one here is the Low Pro with the removable battery. So I've noticed that everybody in here could have came over here and grabbed these, and nobody is working with these. I've checked all the stations. No, this isn't back. Like, what am I? As soon as I get the battery in there. Hopefully one of these is charged. Okay, this battery is showing that it has some. Okay, let's talk about this Low Pro FX1 system with the removable battery. I've recently done some product testing on a lot of different things, and one of the things I tested was how well do these blades respond to heat. This one, I was actually able to clock it at over 125 degrees, whereas the gold and the black both performed better. Gold performing the best, black was in the middle, and blue. Now I'm gonna tell you guys something. When it comes to blades heating up, that's not the big deal that some people might make it out to be. And I may have even confused some of you. So I'm gonna tell you guys a little secret you can use to cool your blade down, literally below room temperature in like 2 seconds. This here, it's just compressed air. When I spray compressed air, it's actually really cold. Now this blade feels like it was in Antarctica. All right, so if you're cutting hair, you really gotta cool this down quick. You got a can of this compressed air. Stylecraft sells this. It's also great for cleaning off your stuff, cleaning off your station. But if you use that on this, it's gonna cool it down right away. Let's talk about performance. These clippers actually perform pretty good, and this is a nice traditional shape, and I think a lot of you guys are probably gonna like it. They have a nice smooth click lever. They have something similar to a vapor blade, which is a really good mixture between a fade blade and a taper blade. And overall, I think this is actually a pretty nice clipper. However, I would say that it does seem to lack a little power for reasons I can't really explain to the next contestant on the list here. And this is the Gold FX FX1 clipper. And this is probably my favorite one that Babyliss is currently making. Now, I used to not be a big fan of the flashlight shape, but there's something about using this clipper. My blends just come out so good, very quick, very good with clipper over comb. There really is not a disadvantage to having this other than the whole charging system. So I sort of wish that if you could charge these batteries just plugging them in, I think that would be really cool. But you do still got to kind of bring that one charger around, which has gotten better. They're getting better. If this just had 4 hours of battery life, which I'll actually put one in the description that does, it might be better than just changing out the thing every like 2 hours or 1.5 hours. I actually have tested these batteries and they do last about 2. I actually had one last, I think it was almost 3 hours, just under 3 hours, and the other one lasted 2 hours and 20. So I would say the 2.5 battery mark for these removable batteries, it's accurate in relation to the clipper. I haven't tested it for the trimmer. And they also make it in black, so if you prefer it in black, I believe there's even more colors now. So you guys can check that down below. I'll put a link to them, and let's move on to the next one. For the next one, we've actually stopped over here at Johan's station where he has a JRL Onyx. And I've noticed that Johan has been using JRL pretty much since they've come out. He is a huge fan, and everything I've tried to give him, from Stylecraft or from other brands that have sent stuff, he's not interested. He keeps going back to this. In fact, I was kind of surprised that he went to the Onyx because you couldn't get the other one out of his hands. And there's a lot of guys just like Johan that absolutely love these, and there's a lot to like. So let's go through it. One of the quietest clippers you're gonna find, 2 different speeds, 5 hours of runtime. They have an excellent blade. They were one of the first, if not the first, I believe, to create the oil reservoirs in the blade, which helps keep it running better and cutting better for longer. The lever is not my favorite part, but we'll get into that. But it has the click lever, and overall, if you like the flashlight shape of the Gold FX, but maybe you wanted something a little bit smaller, a little bit better form fitting to the hand, I think the JRL Onyx is for you.
What's this?
So I gave Johan as the JRL guy, and I was curious to see if he'd wind up going back to the old one most of the day.
So I tried the new one, and I really forgot that I was even using it. The only difference, literally, is the clip. That's about it. There's a little bit of extra play, which I'm not used to, versus this one. This one seems a little tighter. If anything, I would just have stuck with this one, 100%. Right. No reason, in my opinion, to go with this one. Maybe a little bit longer run time, but either way, it's always on the charger, so that's not like a big selling point, in my opinion. Other than that, I mean, the color is different, that's cool. Other than that, it performs exactly the same.
So if I get into any of the negatives, all I would say is this lever is a little bit spongy, and I personally don't really love working with this clipper, even though a lot of you do. And one of the reasons is I'm an old school barber. I do a lot of clipper over comb. I'm constantly bouncing between blending and clipper over comb. And there's been a number of times where I've realized I had to move a little bit slower with this clipper. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. And it's not like I couldn't integrate this into my setup. It's just, I feel there's a more middle of the road clipper for me that really just hits every box in the way that I work with it. Clippers can really only be 2 different things. They can either be strong and remove bulk quickly, or they can be very forgiving. And if they're forgiving, like this one is, you're gonna blend well with them, but you're gonna lose, some of the bulk removing. So hopefully that helps you make a decision. And let's move on to one of the next clippers, best clipper of 2024 mid-year roundup. Let's keep it going. This is the new Metal Instinct clipper. And I got actually a prototype blade on here, so I can't show you too much, but if I try to stop this blade, it'll speed right up. And they have this technology in a couple of their different clippers, but there is something about having this cold metal. You remember when you had the Magic Clips initially, and then the Seniors came out, and when you picked up the Seniors, that metal back, the extra weight, that quality, the associated quality with that, it was just an awesome upgrade in my mind. I think the Seniors blows the Magic Clip out of the water. And that's kind of what this is to me. The original Instinct was nice, but this extra weight in the hand is kind of what I needed.
So let me take a break for a second to tell you guys about my golf game and how much it has been improving and how many great courses and cool people I've been able to meet along the way. But where do I find the time? The answer is my scheduling app. I've been using Booked In for over 3 years. They are rock solid. And today they decided to offer 50% off the first 3 months. All you guys got to do is go to bookedin.com/Eddie and check out the offer below. But I was a little bit concerned because I got a lot of older clients, younger clients, everybody in between. I didn't want one that would make them download an app, and Booked In does not make you download an app. They just literally go to the link, select the barber, select the service, and boom, they're in there and they're in the chair, and it just stops all that back and forth manually putting in the appointment. So because of that, I've had time to go out and do some of the stuff that I enjoy the most. All right, y'all. Back to this fight.
This clipper here, it actually it ticks all the boxes. It can speed up when it senses that resistance, so it's just very predictable. It's a lot of fun to cut with. The only downside I would say is 2 things. One, I wish it was USB-C charging instead of micro USB charging. Obviously, you also get a stand, you get to plug it in, but I'm just saying, like, it's time to move to USB-C. And the other thing about it is these are kind of expensive. And even at that price point, they've still been selling incredibly well. So they've been a little bit hard to get. When you get right down to it, this is definitely one of my favorite clippers I've ever used, period. However, there is another clipper that seems to check all the boxes, much cheaper.
We're actually referring to this as the Superset. This is the Rebel Flex Combo.
Now, if you don't want to pay for that Instinct Metal Edition, They also have the Instinct X. It's a little bit cheaper. It's plastic. You'll find that this will perform very similarly to that metal one, but I do want to point out the fact that that metal one has a completely redesigned motor. The chip is different. There's a lot of differences in that metal one compared to what you're going to see in some of the older ones. However, if you're looking to save a little bit of money and you want to get a really good clipper, you can't beat the X Instinct. So let's talk. This isn't the one I was talking about, by the way. Let's talk about that one. Now, if we go over to my guy Kenny's station, where he has a picture of Josh Allen jumping over that ratchet sneeze quarterback from the Chiefs. Most of the time, he's using one of these Rebels. He's got 2 Rebels, 1 Instinct, and he does have a JRL that occasionally you will see him pick up. But I'm gonna say this. The clipper that I find myself using probably the most frequently is actually the Rebel clipper. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And the biggest reason being that it is just the perfect middle of the road clipper. It's great with the power. It's great with the blending. It isn't too powerful. And at the same time, it's a great price point. And I would say that as far as value, dollars, everything like that goes, you're not gonna find a better value clipper than the Rebel. If you're new, you're in school, perfect clipper for you. If you're in the industry for a while and you haven't switched to cordless, perfect clipper for you, great value. If you've been using other brands and you like the traditional shape, perfect clipper for you. Just a fantastic clipper all the way around. These are actually the 2 models of the Rebel that I'm using the most. The black and gold Rebel actually comes with the Flex trimmer, which I would tell you is a really underrated trimmer. It's extremely powerful, it cuts really good, and that blade is very similar to like the detailer style of blade. I think a lot of you guys may have overlooked the Flex, and you'll be surprised what you find if you use it. The Red Rebel actually comes with the Red Rebel trimmer, which has been in constant rotation on my station. I have it on my mat. It's always with me. I have this thing set really sharp to cut wood, and I gotta say it's an amazing trimmer as well. So really, it just boils down to color preference between these 2. Let's move on to the next clipper, and then we'll crown a king. There's one person in this shop who has more clippers on his station than like all of us in here combined. And he keeps all of them on stand somehow. I'm sure this is an electrical hazard. All right, you guys, so for my last clipper on the list is the Ergo. I really feel like this clipper, for me, as weird as it is to say, because I cut hair for probably 17 years before this came out, I feel like this clipper really hammered home my ability to just perfect the blend. And that's why I could never put this clipper down entirely. I'll always have an Ergo around me. It's this magnetic motor. The ability you get to just really flick into these sections without it just cutting everything off. If you're a newer student, if you're somebody who's like struggling to grasp the concept of fading, you don't want to go buy like an Instinct clipper that's going to just rip the hair off the head. Like that's more for somebody who's been practicing for a long time. This is perfect for everybody. They don't cost a ton and they work really good. And also, if you're like a barber who is just trying to kind of like refine the blend towards the end, there is no better tool than this. And this is why we put the blur blade on here. And the blur blade is gonna allow you to just kind of hit every length towards the end of your haircut. I just don't see how you could have 2 better options together. You got this perfect finishing tool in the blur, and if you guys haven't checked out that big blade shootout, you can, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And you got the most forgiving clipper in my mind that has ever been made. So let's crown a king, y'all. You ready? For my personal favorite out of the Babyliss clippers, I'm definitely gonna select the gold FX clipper. I think this clipper just really hits all the bases and does an excellent job. When it comes to JRL, if you have the original JRL clipper and it's still in good working order, you might be able to just kind of stick with that. If you don't have any of the JRL clippers and you're wondering which one to pick, I would probably point you to the Onyx clipper. This clipper is just all around a good clipper. So out of that line, because I know they don't have a ton of clippers yet, but hopefully they get more, I would definitely select the Onyx. Now I know Stylecraft has just so many clippers, and I can only imagine what somebody new looking at this company would think. They'd be like, where do I start? I'm just gonna make this really easy for you guys. I actually do think that the one that I'm currently using right now is still my favorite. It might always be my favorite, and the majority of the time I'm probably going to use that. However, when clients walk in, they got like a total mop on their head, I gotta knock down a lot of bulk quick, I'm definitely gonna pick up this Metal Instinct. And definitely even sometimes for some fading, removing the harsh skin lines, this does a great job with it. But my favorite overall Stylecraft clipper right now, it's still got to be the Rebel, y'all. And these new combo kits that came out, I mean, they made me so excited. I love the fact that I can fit my comb and my scissors and a couple little things in there, and I can literally just bounce off to somebody's house and cut their hair. And honestly, it really is more due to the fact that there's a combo involved. I love having them combo sets. If we were going to just pick clipper for clipper, what I actually think is the best, I mean, come on, y'all. The new Metal Instinct, it's definitely the best clipper in the industry, I think, right now. But that Rebel, there's just something special about it. I think that I'll probably always pick that up an awful lot too. So it's kind of like picking your favorite kid. I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think your favorite clipper is. Drop it down below. There's a lot of stuff in the pipe. I do know intimately that a lot of things are being worked on from Stylecraft, and some of the things that are being worked on are definitely probably going to become my new favorite machine. I can't talk about that yet, but let's just say, hold on, y'all. 2024 is far from over. And I know a couple of you guys are going to be a little butthurt because I didn't mention Wahl. So I'm going to go ahead and mention them now. I've been on YouTube since 2012. And in that period of time, Wahl has released not many clippers, not much to talk about. I'm a person who's making videos about cutting hair, barbering, tools, stuff like that, and they're not giving me much to go on because they got the Magic Clip and they got the Senior. And I have made so many videos about them that I don't find it necessary to put them in this one. But if they make a new clipper, that's what they're talking about, I'll definitely let you guys know about it. They did, bro. They made the F32 fade out clipper. It's not cringy, right? You guys can check it out right here.